Doctors, trained to heal, sworn to save lives. But what happens when the hands meant to heal become instruments of death? In the chilling world of serial killers, those who wear the white coat are among the most shocking. Welcome back to Prison Stories. Today, we will uncover the serial killer doctors who turned their knowledge of medicine into tools of murder. These are the healers who chose to harm. William Palmer, known as the Prince of Poisoners, was a 19th century English doctor born in 1824. He started his career as a physician, but quickly earned a reputation for his charm and his debts. Palmer was a master of poisoning, particularly using strychnine. He targeted his victims quietly, making their deaths appear natural. Palmer's case was the most chilling one, as he did not leave his family. He killed a lot of his family members just to collect their insurance. That include his mother-in-law, wife, middle-aged brother, and most of his children. He murdered people for financial gain, often to pay off gambling debts or collect life insurance payouts. Palmer's medical expertise made him an exceptionally crafty poisoner, capable of murdering with minimal doses of strychnine, a hard-to-trace organic poison, which is lethal in small doses and decomposes over time. Palmer's frequent financial troubles and the sudden deaths of those around him raised eyebrows, but his position as a doctor shielded him from immediate suspicion. A particularly suspicious death was that of John Parsons Cook, a wealthy associate of Palmer, who died after a horse race. Cook's sudden illness sparked an investigation. The circumstances around Cook's death led to an inquiry. Evidence of poisoning became undeniable when Palmer's purchase of strychnine was revealed. Authorities found that Palmer had purchased poison shortly before Cook's death and had tampered with Cook's betting winnings. Palmer's trial became a media spectacle. The prosecution painted him as a greedy murderer who used his medical knowledge to kill without remorse. William Palmer was convicted of murder and hanged in 1856. His last words were reportedly, "They've hanged the wrong man." Palmer's case was a landmark moment in forensic toxicology. It highlighted the need for better oversight of poisons and stricter regulations for doctors. Palmer's infamous line, before his execution was, "Is it safe?" An eerie question from a man who made others so unsafe. H. Holmes. Herman Webster Mudgett, known as H. Holmes, was born in 1861. He is often considered America's first documented serial killer. Operating during the late 19th century, he constructed a murder castle in Chicago that became a house of horrors. Holmes lured his victims, mostly women, into his house. The building was designed with secret passages, trapdoors, and soundproof rooms where he tortured and killed his victims. He often used poison or asphyxiation. Holmes' fraudulent activities, including insurance scams and mysterious disappearances of his associates, raised suspicions, but his charm kept many from doubting him. Holmes was arrested in 1894 for insurance fraud, but investigators uncovered far more sinister crimes. His murder castle revealed hidden chambers filled with evidence of his killings. Holmes confessed to 27 murders, though estimates suggest his true victim count could be as high as 200. He was convicted and hanged in 1896. H. Holmes' crimes have since become part of true crime legend. He chillingly wrote in his confession, "I was born with the devil in me. I could not help the fact that I was a murderer." Dr. Thomas Neil Cream, a Scottish-Canadian physician born in 1850, earned the chilling nickname the Lambeth Poisoner. Cream used his medical knowledge to kill while operating in both North America and England. Cream primarily used strychnine, a highly toxic poison, to murder his victims. His usual targets were sex workers and women who sought his services for illegal abortions. He exploited their desperation to carry out his deadly crimes. His involvement in several suspicious deaths, combined with a pattern of offering patients medication that led to their deaths, raised concerns. Cream's arrogance and overconfidence led to his downfall mainly. He had this habit of including publicly accusing others, and it was this way he attracted attention and was caught finally. Authorities connected him to the victims through evidence of strychnine purchases and witness testimonies. In 1892, Cream was convicted of multiple murders and sentenced to death. On the gallows, his alleged final words were, "I am Jack," leading to speculation that he was confessing to being Jack the Ripper, though this has been widely debunked. Harold Shipman, infamously known as Dr. Death, was a British general practitioner who became one of the most prolific serial killers in history. Born in 1946, Shipman outwardly appeared as a caring family doctor, but behind the facade, he exploited his patients' trust to commit chilling murders. Shipman's preferred method was administering lethal doses of morphine to elderly patients, often forging their medical records to cover his tracks. Many of his victims were women, whom he targeted during routine house visits or clinic appointments. The high number of deaths among his patients, particularly older women, raised some eyebrows. A general practitioner, Linda Reynolds, expressed her concern. An inquiry was made, but nothing was found. Unfortunately, Shipman killed 3 more patients even after that. A few months later, in August, taxi driver John Shaw told the police that he suspected Shipman of murdering 21 patients as he drove many patients in good health that died under his care. Investigators exhumed several bodies and found evidence of morphine poisoning. Shipman was arrested in 1998. He was convicted in 2000 of murdering 15 patients, though investigations estimate his victim count to be over 200. He was sentenced to life imprisonment, where he later died by suicide in 2004. Shipman's case led to sweeping changes in the UK medical system, including stricter regulations on death certifications and monitoring of doctors' activities. Dr. Michael Swango, born in 1954, was an American physician whose fascination with death turned into a deadly obsession. Over his career, he poisoned patients and colleagues, leaving a trail of death and suspicion across hospitals in the United States and abroad. He once wrote in his journal about his fascination with death, calling it the ultimate thrill. Swango's methods involved poisoning his victims with lethal injections or tampering with their food and beverages. His victims included hospital patients, co-workers, and acquaintances. Colleagues noticed unusual patterns, such as patients suddenly deteriorating under his care or mysterious illnesses among staff. Despite repeated suspicions, he managed to move between hospitals, often falsifying credentials to gain employment. Swango's crimes unraveled when hospital staff and law enforcement connected his movements to unexplained deaths. He was arrested in 1997 after attempting to work at a veterans hospital under a false name. In 2000, Swango pled guilty to multiple murders and was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Investigators believe he may have killed over 60 people. Swango's case exposed the glaring flaws in medical background checks and credential verification, leading to reforms in hospital hiring practices. The line between life and death can be razor thin, especially when those who are meant to save lives choose to take them instead. These doctors reveal the chilling reality that not all who wear the title of healer are guided by compassion. They use their expertise to exploit trust, turning medicine into murder. Their cases underscore the importance of vigilance and accountability, even in the most trusted professions. Thank you for watching Prison Stories. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more true crime stories from behind bars.